Just another slap in the face of Manchester City. I think it was inevitable, given that everything we've had over the past several years, that we were going to have a season like this where it felt we got slap in the face after slap in the face after slap in the face after slap in the face. Guys, welcome back to another video. It looks like City have lost out in the race for Florian Wirtz, unfortunately. Yeah, not good news. I've been out for a few hours doing important, actual, real-world family stuff. Finally back home. Finally here to talk about it. And as I predicted, there's been more context. I tweeted about it as it happened. Sat in a hospital waiting room. We're okay, by the way, don't worry. Just pre-pregnancy stuff. And it looks like, unfortunately, City have lost the race here. It came out a few hours ago. Let me find the tweets for you. Via Sami Mokbel, a BBC reporter. I'll show you over here. Where has it gone? He said, exclusive, Man City are withdrawing from the race to sign Bayer Leverkusen midfielder Florian Wirtz. Feeling of the transfer, which would be the most expensive Man City history, does not represent value for money. City estimate the deal would cost around €300 million all in dollars. That would be interesting. I'll read the article for you. It says, Bayer Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz is one of the most in-demand midfielders in football, and many expect him to be the natural successor to De Bruyne. BBC understands the withdrawing due to the soaring costs. It's estimated the agreement would cost around €300 million, basically. In the past, City was showing they were prepared to walk away from transfers they believe a deal would not represent value for money. Guardiola's side fell short of signing Fred, Jorginho and Frankie de Jong because of cost-related issues before signing current Ballon d'Or winner Rodri. I mean, I'm sorry, that is obvious PR spin. I mean, that's been fed word for word. Yeah, we didn't get Fred, but we got Ballon d'Or winner Rodri. Come on, man, you can read it, surely. I'll get onto that in a little bit. Similarly, they cooled their interest in Tottenham striker Harry Kane, but then before signing Haaland for $51 million. This is like literally City PR release. In 2020, City signed Ruben Dias after previously walking away from deals from Maguire and Koulibaly. So this is all true for what it's worth. This for me is, this came out and then there's been lots of reports since then. They all kicked in, all the big transfer people. Let me find the other stuff. Where's it gone? Fabrizio Romano confirmed it as well. Jack Gorn confirmed it. Sasha Tavalieri said Florian Wirtz is chosen by Bayern Munich as his next club. So basically, my theory when this came out, I'll go back to the tweet again. The reason I was skeptical about this initially was because all this talk about money, about it being €300 million, it didn't really wash from me because City would have known the cost of this package almost immediately. That this isn't new information. They would have known this as they were discussing it for ages. And there was all these reports that apparently, City had agreed a relative framework for the transfer with Bayer Leverkusen, that we had the money to spend it and we were going to spend it and all this kind of stuff. And to me, it felt like, I don't think anything changed here. I think what changed, unfortunately, is that Florian Wirtz doesn't want to come to Manchester City Football Club. My initial reaction was one of scepticism, especially reading that report from Sami Mokbel as well. It's pointed out how City had been really shrewd in the market and actually signed a Ballon d'Or winner for a cheaper price and actually got Ruben Dias for a cheaper price and all this kind of stuff. To me, it struck me as City trying to save face. We've heard it before many times. We heard it with when Liverpool walked away, when actually Bellingham had chose Real Madrid and all this kind of stuff. Clubs don't want to admit that they've lost out. They don't want to say that. So they just, because they can't say, he didn't want us, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to say out loud. I'd rather they just say nothing. But they have to give a reason. So what they do is go, well, actually, it's €300 million and it's an awful lot of money, and they have to say something. So it's sort of like saving face. But we're not stupid. Come on. It's very obvious that he's chosen another club. And as it turns out, a couple of hours later, Sasha Tavalieri said that Florian Wirtz is chosen by Munich as his next club, and the player's wish has been confirmed to Man City officials. Viana and his team are now working in Barcelona's Dani Olmo. I'll get onto that in a minute. But I think, to be honest, this is a massive slap in the face of Manchester City. It's been a really sour few weeks, if I'm being honest. Obviously, the De Bruyne stuff has been a real stick in the mud. Like, the way that the De Bruyne stuff has been handled has been painful to witness because, De Bruyne is clearly our greatest ever, in my opinion, or if not the greatest ever, in the top handful. And it's one of those things where, I've just seen this right now. Actually, watch this one and refresh it. All this stuff about De Bruyne. It gets worse and worse. Apparently, De Bruyne could not initially accept the news of his City exit when he was delivered to him by the club, having been pressing that his future was his to determine. Over the weeks, he started to engage with City's ideas for the final goodbye, although a board member had to make a phone call to talk through his grievances. Yeah, basically, it's very sour. It just gets, it just gets more and more sour. What a shit show of a season. I have to tweet that because I tweeted earlier about how it's been so sour. Our greatest ever is it's horrible. Our greatest ever is in a sulk. Then you had the fact that we managed to somehow fuck it up against Southampton, the worst probably side in Premier League history. Then we lost the cup final as well. And now we've lost Florian Wirtz as well, with Guardiola sort of like randomly going things, changing players. It's been an absolute mess, man. It's an absolute mess. And look, and the thing is as well, now we're linked to Danny Olmo. That has to be bullshit. I pray that's bullshit. Honestly, separated from the nonsense around Olmo, I think Olmo's a good player. I actually was on board with the idea of Olmo signing a year ago. I think he's a really good player. But Danny Olmo is a walking injury. He's injury prone all the time. We can't go for players who are injury prone when the main problem of this season is that our players are just never available. That has to be bullshit, because Olmo, I really like Olmo. If he could stay fit, he'd be a cracking player, but he's always injured. Like, the guy is never available, as talented as he is, and he's really talented. I rate him. I think you're right. I totally rate him. I think he's really skillful, a good goal scorer, very versatile. Look, he's not a superstar, but I think he's a much better player than people give him credit for, but he's always injured. So what does it matter? Like, the main problem of this season is that availability was in the bin. So, oh god, Simon Bukowski apparently now saying that Gundo and Bernardo are about to stay as well. Oh, come on, City, man! Like, this is it's turning into an absolute shit show. Like I feel like right now there's not many reasons to be positive. It's just looking bad, isn't it? It's looking bad. Look, Olmo is a good player, but he cannot be the De Bruyne replacement. It cannot be the De Bruyne replacement. It's just like, if Gundogan and Bernardo stay after everything, if we genuinely mess this up and stick with the old guys again, it's one of those things where we've absolutely screwed it. We've screwed it. Xavi Simons, by the way, I like him. Xavi Simons would be much better than Olmo. Best availability is availability. Obviously talent after that. But yeah, if you're not available, what's the bloody point? You can be messy if you play 10 games a season. There's no point, man. I do mind Bernardo and Gundo staying, because we absolutely have to move on. If you want De Bruyne, if you don't mind Bernardo and Gundogan staying, you have to accept that they are going to start a vast amount of games next season. If you're fine with that, sure. But if you don't like the way they're playing this season, they're not going to be squad players. If they are there, Guardiola will play them, because Guardiola cannot help himself. That's it. He doesn't have the balls not to play them. I agree, Anna. I just don't agree with it. Maybe if we got Reinders and Gibbs White, Guardiola would sort of pull rank and choose those guys with Rodri instead, or something like that. But I don't see it. Like, I don't see Guardiola not going for the reliability. It's one of those things where we're just having to, deal with blow after blow as it currently stands, and it's very hard. Look, we talk about trusting the board, which is absolutely true. The board have been brilliant, but the board have had a really bad run for a couple of years now. They have. In terms of the transfer team. So I think it's fair to say they had a lot of credit in the bank, and they got that still, and Guardiola as well, of course. But the last couple of years, there's been a lot of, I would say, average to this. Yeah. I don't know. It's been a bit infuriating watching City standards dip with signings that are just good to okay to good. A couple of very good ones, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like Vardiol is great, but we've not signed players that have gone like wow out for an awful long time now. So I think Docker's a good player. I think Savino's a good player. Are they great? No, they're not great. Could they be one day? Maybe. But are they now? No. Previously, we signed Mahrez. He was great immediately as a winger. Sane and people like Sterling were high level and stuff like that. Sterling was the golden boy winner when we signed him, by the way. Sane came in and was a superstar potentially. Obviously he was still a talent, but that's what I'm on about. Like, they were just obviously a higher level immediately. And look, these guys could be good. And look, I guess right now it's easy to feel negative, and you could see this as me sort of throwing the baby out with the bathwater and all that kind of stuff, which I'll try not to do. I've got another baby coming soon. But I guess the point I'm making is, like, it's easy to feel negative because there's not many reasons to feel positive right now. We've had a really weird season. Guardiola seems to be doing strange thing. Paul, Paul, I just saw your tweet actually, mate. You're on about a different thing. City's PR and City's social media aren't linked, mate. I'm on about the social media team. They have scheduled tweets. If you think City are going to come out and tweet about a transfer, that's never going to happen. They're not allowed to do that for what it's worth. So, City's PR are different to City's Twitter, mate. Like, I think you need to separate the two because. Paul, I was replying to Paul yesterday because Paul said something about City social media is not right or something like that. I don't know what you expect from City social media, mate, because City's Twitter account is never going to be communication on transfers. They don't do that. They're not allowed to do that. Like no club in the world talks about transfer stuff. And yeah, the manager talks about stuff after games, so they're gonna post about Club World Cup tickets because they have to legal. But in terms of PR, this is nothing to do with social media. This stuff leaking to the press that's the that's not the communications team. That's the football management team somehow getting the comms people to talk to the press. Am I too negative these days? No, I'm not too negative, Camille. I don't think I am, mate. I'm talking why people may feel negative. Like, I'm not a negative person. I'm a relative realist. I keep saying on videos, we're still technically one of the best teams in the country, which is true, because we are. We're in the top 6 teams in the country, We reached the final. We've got some very good players, but we've also signed quite a few people who are just not really good enough, at the highest level. We've signed talents that have been immediately obviously brilliant technically, and that's my biggest issue. Because I don't think we've signed a player for a long time that I thought, he's special. Like Withdrawal was probably that, but do you know what? I feel like maybe a bit harsh there because some have obviously got special talents, but we've had a few misses where we used to feel like every single one was an absolute, nailed on cert. So I think we've slipped. We have slipped. And I think Guardiola admitted last season that we held on to people far too long. And I think we've communicated to De Bruyne terribly. De Bruyne's upset now. Our best player ever is in a bloody sulk with the club. And he's talking about his future after, look, we've got fucking our best ever player just after we lost the FA Cup final. Just talking about, I could play for another Premier League club. Come on, man. It's an absolute shit show. He's got every right to talk about that, but it's painful to witness, like, our best ever players flirting with other Premier League clubs after we just lost the FA Cup final, and he doesn't know if he's going to play. Guardiola says he doesn't know if he's going to play in the Club World Cup. Where's the firm behaviour? Like, where is City putting the foot down? Like, Guardiola's been asked. Guardiola's been... by the way, Paul, they have to. Paul said you wanted to watch highlights yesterday. No, mate, I just didn't click on it. They post highlights after every single game, mate. Just ignore it. They always post highlights after every single game. That's you can't moan about them posting highlights, pal. They've got to. They'll have contractual obligations. They've got to promote their social media channels and YouTube channels because that's their job, man. You just ignore it. Ignore it. If you're bothered by highlights of a channel of an FA Cup thing with sponsors and all that to do, I think you're being a bit sensitive is what I would say. Just leave it, man. Who cares? They always post highlights every single game. I didn't want to watch him. So guess what? I just didn't watch it. But I wasn't upset at them posting it because it's their job to do it. But anyway, going back to the De Bruyne thing, Guardiola not knowing if he's playing in the Club World Cup. Where's the fucking not composure? Where's the closure? Where's I'm off, you're too angry. No, I'm not angry, mate. I'm just telling you the truth. Don't get annoyed at social media accounts for posting highlights of a game. With all due respect, I think it's a bit like we're grown adults here. They're just doing their social media job. Why would you get angry about a social media person, probably in their 20s, having to post a clip of the highlights, which they have to do because they do it every single game? I think we're being too sensitive for getting annoyed about it. Obviously the highlights aren't scheduled before the game, but the post is. They upload the clip afterwards. But anyway, I'm frustrated because I think there's no decision making around the club right now. Players don't know if they're going or coming. Our greatest ever is angry at the club because it's been handled. The greatest ever player, his wife. His wife is not even at the game of the FA Cup final. It's an absolute it's what are we doing, man? We need to get a grip. Guardiola's having to field questions about that. Guardiola doesn't know who's going to take the penalties on the pitch. I know there's some things that's going on, but where is who's putting the foot down? And look, and I know we're probably going to be okay, and I know we're going to sign some good players, but this season is just, it feels like so many things are running away from each other. Poor decisions everywhere around the club. And look, and this is not just because we lost the transfer to Wirtz. It happens. Leadership, exactly, Stephen. That's what I'm looking for. Stephen Gray in the chat. I'm not used to seeing City look so out of control. Is there too many cooks right now? Is the Viana Cheeky thing a bit complicated? How has it got to this point with when we're we've told De Bruyne if he thinks he's going to choose his future, and then look, even the Echeverry stuff in the final, like then probably slapping Rico Lewis and McAtee in the face. Whether you think they should have been on the bench or not, come on, man, it's just an absolute clusterfuck, the whole thing, and. I think the whole thing, City look like they're lacking leadership, and we know they are, because last summer the transfer board they wanted to rebuild the team, but Guardiola went, no, I want to stick with these teams. Tell him no. Oh, do you know what I say as a Guardiola? I know it's hard, but where's the leadership? Like, they're all just overruling each other, and no one's putting the foot down at any point, and they saw it coming, but they didn't do anything. Well, we're allowed an off-season, we are, but we have to learn our lessons, and right now it doesn't feel like we are learning lessons, because even now, even the fucking even the stuff around KDB, and even the way that we've handled this verse stuff. Oh, actually, it's just too expensive. Oh, get over it, man. It's so transparent. It's so transparent. We all know that we've just lost out. Just don't pretend it's a money thing. Bullshit. We spent £200 million in January. We're not stupid. We know we can afford it if you want to. This. We know the PSR headroom is about 500 million quid, and we won't have. No one thinks Wirtz is going to be cheap. So that suddenly shocked after months of negotiations with Wirtz and go, actually, we decided it was too expensive. Conveniently, he's just chosen Bayern, but it's definitely because we chose it. This is why I'm just come on, man. Put your big boy pants on, and that's where I'm a little bit frustrated, because it feels like. A lot of stuff right now is sour. The Southampton game's sour. The Palace game's sour. The De Bruyne stuff's sour. And look, if we're going for look, De Bruyne's post-match speech won't get ugly, Anna. He's too smart. He's not going to say anything negative in front of the fans. I'm not worried about that, but it's social joy's been a good point. Everyone's got good structure now. Not everyone, but a lot of teams have got much better structure, and they've caught up a little bit. Some people like United still haven't bloody got a social, an analytics side, but... And I don't know, if Olmo's the backup as well, have we not learned anything? That has to be bullshit, because if it's not bullshit, we're idiots. Not because, once again, I think Olmo's a good player. I actually think he is, but he's not unavailable for half the season, and the more he gets older, the more injuries he's going to get. So at this point, what are we doing? What are we doing? Can we get a grip? And that's where I'm getting frustrated, because it's this isn't smart. This is not even smart. It's silly. Have to go big. They have to go big, man. We have to go big on it. And I am not an angry person. You guys know I'm not. I understand mistakes happen. And I understand, football is complicated. I understand we'll sign some good players. But I understand, though, we have to be aggressive. We have to be aggressive, man. We have to be. We have to be. We have to really change this around. And we have to, be aggressive in fixing things. We have to be. Guys, I'm going to leave it there after that rant. Give the video a like and subscribe if you want to. Let me know what you made of this, and let me know your targets for a future Manchester City signing. If it's not going to be Florian Wirtz, for what it's worth, I think Reinders and Morgan Gibbs White, I rate them both to be very good signings. And with the return of Rodri and so on, and hopefully Foden finds some form next season, and Oscar Bob start and Echeverry, whatever, it's very good. But Xavi Simons for me, by the way, would be really good. I like Xavi Simons. I think he's a really good player. I think he'd be a very smart signing, and would be surprised by his output. But get your shit together, City. Stop with the bullshit and sort stuff out. No leadership at City at the moment. Bye-bye, guys.